Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Amanda.
I'm Eve.
And tonight we're talking about the premiere of Grey's Anatomy and Station 19.
Yay.
Sorry, I'm always way more happy to talk about Grey's.
I know, best for last. And it's the season, and it's season 20.
Season 20.
Oh my gosh. Is this like the longest running like fictional live action program that's still running? If it's not, it's got to be high up there.
Definitely. You're not talking about like soaps or anything, right?
No, I wouldn't count soaps in that. Like, my soap I've been watching has been on since like radio.
I know.
But it's funny, every time I go back and I start rewatching, like from season 1, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so early 2000s. Like when you like just looking at the style of the hospital, I'm like, this is so early 2000s. I
The
don't know.
hair, just
I can't
all of it.
explain exactly what early 2000s means, but if you go back and watch season 1, you'll get it.
If you guys have listened to the podcast, I've watched all of Grey's Anatomy through 4 times whole, and then 4 times now. Yes.
You're always watching it, so
I am. It's like my background show now. It's like almost like Friends is for a lot of people, or like The Office or Parks or Rec. Like my background show a lot of times is Grey's Anatomy. My kids are like, "Oh, you're watching this episode again?" Like they know the like it's bad.
Clearly it's not bad if you keep watching it over and over again.
I mean, yeah, but my obsession with it is obsessive. I've watched Gilmore Girls just as many times. I've watched Friends at least 12 times through. I've seen The Office 6 times through, and then no telling how many just regular episodes I've seen. I love TV and I like my comfort shows.
I'm rewatching How I Met Your Mother for like the 500th time, so
I've never watched that through.
We've got our comfort shows.
All right, we are in season 7 of Station 19 and season 20 of Grey's Anatomy.
And sadly, it's the last season of Station 19.
This really confused me when I saw it. I was shocked.
I want to know why. It's like, I will accept it. I just want to understand why, because it's been so good, especially since like season 17 of Grey's, when we had that whole season that we never talk about ever again. Station 19 was better than Grey's for several seasons.
It was, and to me it's getting better.
For 2 or 3 seasons it was better than Grey's. So obviously Grey's is not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay, I
We'll
get
see.
that. See, now that Ellen's, kind of mostly bowed out. I don't know, it's been so good lately, so I don't understand the reason for dropping it.
Station 19's cancellation was surprising for many, as the firefighter series consistently ranked as ABC's number 2 drama series behind Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, nice. I mean, I knew that it was probably high up there. I didn't realize it was number 2.
I think they're canceling it because 911 came in and they're too similar. That's my own personal. But let's see. It says Variety previously reported that the show averaged 8.3 million total views in season 6. The series was also consistently praised for tackling difficult and important issues. It was honored with a Centennial Award from Hollywood.
So if it's because it came down to either having 911 or Station 19, it doesn't make much sense, because they're both in season 7, so they've been on
the same amount of time.
Unless they
have no reason.
I don't want to assume that it's because of money and 911 is too expensive, but
no, I don't think so. I would not think so. I mean, it's Shondaland. They're fine.
I mean, if you're gonna have me pick between Station 19 and 911, like I don't want to have to pick, but
I honestly think it's because there's just too many same shows, and Station 19, I think, ranked behind them.
Well, it better be a really good farewell season.
Better be. We're only at 10 episodes, so you better make them count.
If they botch this up, I'm gonna be mad forever.
I know. There's no real answer to why Station 19 is getting canceled other than
And I don't think we're ever going to get a real answer. So
it doesn't look like it. I've read several reports now, and I don't see anybody giving me any answers. All right, so let's dig into Station 19 first. We left off last season with Jack getting hurt, so we're kind of beginning.
I forgot so much of the Station 19 finale from last season.
I did too.
I really should have gone back and watched it. I forgot that Dick died.
Okay, so I didn't remember him dying. I remember him getting like crushed, but I didn't think we had an answer if he died. His wife, Kitty's reaction got me.
Kitty
She
was
opened that door. Hello. I was like, wow.
Kitty was real chipper.
I was like, oh no, either she doesn't care or she is about to lose her mind. Women only answer the door like that for two reasons.
She had moments of clarity where she seemed like she was like all the way there, but like she was just at peace with it.
I
But
know.
also for the most part, she was just, I don't know, it was weird. It's like
Yeah.
she wasn't treating it like it was awake.
No, I think I mean, she just lost her husband of how many years? That's
A
that's
husband
hard.
a husband who she wasn't terribly fond of towards the end either. So,
She
I mean,
wasn't, but that's still gonna.
it's a lot of conflicting emotions, I'm
It
sure.
is. It is. I can see. You're not really handling that in the most. I don't want to say normal way because there's no real normal way to handle death or grief.
The most typical.
Typical way, I guess. So,
I don't really like that either, but hopefully you guys all know what we mean.
but I love that Travis thought to bring his mother's food. By the way, that made me laugh. I'm
That
not a
is
good
such a
cook. And that was
yeah,
so sweet. He walked in, all that food sitting there. I was like, yep,
yeah. He was just
duh.
like, "Oh, thanks. You can put the food right over here." I'm like,
You just said, make yourself a
"This
plate.
is
We have too much.
like, lady, this is like your husband died. This isn't like a party that we're
She's having a potluck. I don't know what you're talking about. She's gonna need a potluck after having all that food delivered. My gosh, it's only her. Well, and Emmett. I was excited. I didn't even think about him coming. That was weird. So when I started watching Station 19 is when Emmett left because I have not seen earlier seasons of Station 19. So even when I first saw Emmett, I was like, who is that? I knew who Emmett was, but I didn't put the two and two together until it
for
took
some
me a good like 10 seconds probably. And I was like, oh yeah.
for
Duh.
some reason it's always weird to see him back. I don't know what it is.
I forgot what he looked like. I honestly did. Like it took me a
Like it
good
was a brand new
10
character for
seconds.
you.
Yeah. Like I have seen him on the show before. Like I know what his face looks like. I had just forgotten, to be honest. I watch a lot of stuff. I don't keep everything in line all the time. I want to say it was good to see Emmett back, but at the same time, is he going to leave again? Is Travis going to go through all the hurt again? It's there's goods and bads of them, eventually in this episode hooking up. I just don't see this ending. I want Travis and Emmett to end up together.
I want them to end up together, but then I also really like Eli. I love Eli as a character,
Mm-hmm.
but and I also don't mind him with Travis, but I really want Travis with Emmett.
I do
And
too.
maybe we can find someone else really lovely for Eli.
Eli doesn't really serve much purpose in the show anymore to me.
Oh, now that the Travis's whole campaign is over and he's not going to be with Andy, it's like
Yeah, like that we can just be like he breaks up with Eli for Emmett, and then Eli can kind of like make his exit out of the show.
Or
I
I mean,
haven't gotten attached to this guy yet, so
he
he
can
can
stick
go.
around and just, come by every once in a while, like right when we're forgetting about him.
In the 10 episodes we have left. That's
Like
my
every
thing. Like,
three
we got 10
episodes,
episodes left. Like, move out. Let's get this going. I need stories together and I'll
we
have
need everything tied up with a nice, pretty bow.
yes. They don't drag me along with people who are not gonna matter in 9 episodes. And I don't think Eli's gonna matter in 9 episodes. I really don't. I do not see Travis ever picking Eli over Emmett.
Yeah, I do like Eli, so I'm not on the same page with you on that one. I do like Eli, but
I like Eli.
I don't think he stands a chance when it comes to Emmett being back in town.
No, I don't. And that's what I honestly do like Eli. If Emmett had not come back into the picture, I would be Travis and Eli all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we have Emmett back, if he stays, then Eli's gonna have to go. Yeah, I do not want to deal with a love triangle after this many years for 10 episodes.
No, how are we gonna wrap up a love triangle in 10 episodes? Like,
Yeah, just
if all we
go
have
break up
left,
with them.
and at this point we only have 8 episodes left because they've had 2
Yeah.
episodes.
We're only talking about the first one, but they have already 2 out. So we need
Yeah, so if we have such limited time, it's like, come on, let's move this along and
Yeah.
get everybody where we want them to be.
we don't need all that stuff.
And by we mean, Amanda and Eve. We don't care about anybody else.
Kind of messed up on Travis's part. I wasn't very happy with him for taking it as far with Emmett as he did when he is obviously in some sort of relationship with Eli. But I get their history, lost to the moment, still not morally okay. But I want Travis and Emmett together, so I'm kind of biased.
I don't know. I can kind of see Travis dumping Eli for
Oh, in a
Emmett.
heartbeat, he would, I think. But I also think he's probably going to be a little bit more scared that Emmett's going to up and leave.
And then
If
he'll
he
be
is like
left with
this,
nobody.
is Travis going to retire? Like, is he going to quit? Like, the show's ending, so some of these people can do that now, and it's not going to like hurt us as long as they have a happy ever after.
It would hurt us because then we'll know for the rest of our lives that they're not together at 19 anymore.
Well, it's going to happen anyways.
But I want to live in blissful,
Ignorance,
blissfully ignorant. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just
Live
forever.
there. I don't
Yeah,
blame you.
I just want to live there forever. It's a happy place.
It really is. Speaking of a happy place, can we talk about Ghost Jack? This
Ghost
bothered me.
Ghost Jack was in a mood.
Ghost Jack, I did not appreciate Ghost Jack. Like, what?
He was annoying.
I was like, does Andy have a brain tumor? Like, this is my Gray's brain. Like, why is she seeing Ghost Jack? Did she hit her head? Does she have a brain bleed? Is there a tumor in her head? Like,
I think I think it was just to drive home the point that she was feeling
guilty.
like I don't know, guilty,
It's her
uneasy,
inner conscience.
she doesn't deserve this position after like what happened to Jack or whatever, but
Yeah. They went about it wrong.
But yeah, because it didn't track at all with who Andy has been this entire series up until this point. Like, that's not who she is. Like, I can see her being, upset about what happened to Jack, but to feel guilt over it, that's not her. Like, she knows that she has nothing to be guilty for. Like, she's worked her butt off for years for this job. Jack had previous injuries that led to this one.
So sad.
And she's a really practical person. So like, why? Like,
Yeah.
what was this?
I did not like this. I actually didn't mind any of the rest of the episode, but I did not like Ghost Jack. That was just, I felt like it was so unnecessary. And
It was really weird and unnecessary.
you know what it reminded me of, which why it gave me the ick, is the whole Izzy Denny storyline when she was like Ghost Denny.
Yeah, and like he was there for her. I'm like,
and like Alex outside the bedroom door listening to quote unquote them. Like this was where I was like, your brain tumor. Andy's got a brain tumor.
I've seen Grey's Anatomy. I know how this goes.
This is Shondaland PTSD is what we call it.
No, but luckily that's not what it is. It was just really weird and ridiculous.
I just don't think it transferred onto the screen like they were maybe
don't-
wanting it to transfer onto the screen.
Yeah, I don't think it translated the way that they intended it to.
Yeah,
because
there you
it
go.
just-
Thank you.
It just came off real silly and unnecessary.
Yeah. But Ghost Jack did, finally get her there at the end to where she accepted that she should be the captain, that she earned it. So yay, Ghost Jack.
Yeah, thanks, Ghost Jack, I guess. I mean, you weren't really needed. We wanted the real Jack. That's what we wanted.
Oh,
It didn't
think-
occur to me at first, by the way, that was like Ghost Jack. So
I know. It took me a second.
So at first I was like, wait, did we like fast forward in time and now like he's good and now
Mhm.
he's like being all snarky and following along on all of these because he obviously wasn't in any kind of gear. He was just plain clothes. So I was like, is he like, bored? And now he
He just follows him around. Crime
And then-
scene to crime scene.
when I realized it was a ghost, I was like, okay, no, that makes more sense, but also I don't like this.
No, it just one of those things where I think they tried and did not hit it out of the park.
They tried something and it just did not go well.
No. They also tricked me in the beginning when I saw Jack on his firefighting uniform saving people. And I was like, oh, cool. We jumped in time and he's good. He's okay. And then they were like, no, you suck. That's what I felt like. So I did not appreciate that, Krista.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I did not appreciate the trick. You got me. I thought he was okay. So pretty much what we learn after Amelia does surgery, love a crossover, by the way. Pretty much Jack has had too many hits in the head from previous injuries, including this one, that are just not going to allow him to ever be a firefighter again.
Which
Thankfully, they
makes
saved
sense.
this until the last season.
I mean, makes sense because who is going to want to hold themselves liable for any further damage? Like he was lucky that I was so nervous when he woke up. Like when he
I
started talking
know.
to Andy, I was like, oh no, it's gonna be gibberish. And now we've lost Jack forever. But he was fine. I mean, aside from the fact he's not a firefighter anymore, but
I know. It's so
he's
sad.
alive. He's alive and he's well-ish.
I still think they can find some job for him, right?
I would think so. Like, I know Jeanette mentioned something after watching this week's Station 19, and after I watched it, I agree with her. It's like, why? Like, yeah, obviously he can't be a firefighter anymore. I mean, totally get it. But why can't he have a desk job somewhere within the department? Like, he can't be the only one on desk duty at the station because, sometimes they have to jump in and do, paramedic stuff when someone comes in.
Yeah.
And I think he can't even do that anymore either.
But something?
But really, they
Did you
can't
give him a special job?
Well, I mean, in the most recent episode, they were kind of like trying to cheer him up, talking about all the different things that other people in his position have done. And, in the very Jack way, he just didn't want to hear it. So,
Not there yet.
I don't know. I think he needs to sulk for a while.
All right. We did have a Crisis 1 call this week. So we all love those. But it's coming right after Vic and starts with a T. What's his name? Theo. Oh my
What
gosh.
is doing his name? You can never remember his name.
I can't. Oh
Him
my
and
gosh.
Travis kept calling him Trevor for the longest time.
That's right. I knew it was a T name. Okay.
I also forgot that they'd broken up. Like,
I did too. I thankfully watched the recap before I watched the episode.
no, I really should. I should have known better and gone back. It's been so long. I should have gone back and watched it. But
So I rewatched the season finale of Grey's before the new episode, but I did not watch the season finale of Station 19 before the episode, but I did watch the recap. So I at least halfway.
But once they mentioned it, I remembered what happened. He had that thing with what's her name, Chaos Kate. Which,
Yes.
by the way, she needs to go away forever. She is just annoying.
So much. I do not like this character. Like, that was the last time we need to see her
She
done,
brings
over with.
literally nothing to the show.
No. So we have Vic and Theo going on this crisis one call together to this lady who made clean water for, I guess, third world countries where they can get it for free, which is
Amazing.
amazing. Like, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then apparently they like stole it from under her and were trying to sell it to the people, which is the whole reasoning of her doing this, was so that it would be free for them and not having to pay for things. I understood her frustration and anger at this. That was very, really messed up of what they did to her. But
She sounded like she'd been working at that company
years.
for years and years and has put like her blood, sweat, and tears into everything she's done, and she keeps getting overlooked. Like I totally get where she's coming from, except I've never threatened to, I don't know, antifreeze and I don't
blow
know,
up everybody.
blow up a building with a bunch of people in it. Like I've never thought to do that.
I would think to like sue them or
You know, make their
quit,
lives
or
miserable some other less illegal way.
yeah, there's ways to go about getting revenge rather than blowing up them plus innocent people. So, tomato potato. So we have this lady. Vic's trying to talk her down. Goes over blah 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 blah. We're not doing word for word recaps anymore, so I'm not gonna go all the way through it. But she did eventually blowing up like a room. It wasn't even that bad.
The coworkers, by the way, were being wholly unhelpful. Like they're trying to talk her down. They're like, her name is, you know, whatever. She's trying
Yeah.
to do this, that, and the other thing. And I'm sitting there going, would you be quiet?
Oh, I know. And as soon as like Vic would start like getting her somewhere, they're like, and then I'm like, will you shut up?
Like, do you understand the severity of the situation? Like, she's about to blow you all up. Just shut up.
Shut up. They
Stop.
were really annoying.
Like, stop saying words. Like, no wonder she blew up the building. I mean, those people were annoying. Maybe that's why she blew up the building. It had nothing to do with her work. They were just annoying the crap out of her.
She's like, that's it. I'm done.
That's it. You said one more word and now the whole place has to go up in smoke.
Oh gosh. She does eventually like blow up half a room, and it like messes up, I don't know, something, and makes toxins go into the air. So they have to like seal themselves into this one room. And so they have to like jump off the balcony onto the safety, which, by the way, after this episode, I have talked to myself and promised myself that I am ever in that situation, I'm going to make sure I look a lot more cool than that guy did going down like head first. Who jumps head first?
I was so confused. I was like, why is he swan diving?
Head first.
Trampoline, like airbag, whatever it's called. I was like,
I would not trust myself to turn around that fast.
Like, this is not like the diving competition at the Olympics. Like, what are you
like expecting? Like, you know, you go and you like go backwards, like cross your arms and cross your legs and fall backwards. That to me is the proper way to have to jump off of a balcony onto a big bag, not swan dive for 10 points. Like, okay, that was another thing that really bothered me. It just stuck in my brain. I was like, okay, if I ever have to jump off one of these things, go backwards. Don't go head first. You know, you learn things on shows.
If I'm gonna be on TV, I don't want to look ridiculous.
Or real life even.
I'm gonna be on the news for having to jump out of a building onto a giant like air mattress below. I'm not gonna look ridiculous while doing it. I'm not gonna have the whole town laughing at me.
And also Vic didn't even look that cool doing it. Come on. I was really disappointed at all the dismounts. Just saying.
I mean, Vic's a professional. She couldn't.
She should have gone backwards, arms crossed and legs crossed. That's how you're supposed to do it. So they ended up jumping off the building eventually, but the Miss Phyllis did not want to jump. I guess she wanted to die in her building, and so Maya had to go and catapult her.
Which, by the way, I don't understand. Like, she wasn't willing to jump, but she was willing for them to take her. Like,
No, I think because Vic finally talked her into like not dying with the building. So, but I don't know why she couldn't still jump. I don't understand it at
so
all.
if she was willing to go with Maya eventually, couldn't they have just been like, okay, ma'am, you need to jump now?
Or
Like,
maybe her leg was hurting. I don't know. And she
I
had a
don't
hurt
know.
leg, so maybe that was the reason.
It was just very, it seemed very cliche for Vic to jump off as there's fire literally
Boof.
like 2 inches behind her. And she's going in
So
slow.
dramatic.
Like, how dramatic and cliche can you get?
Would you expect anything less?
You know, they only have 10 episodes. They need to, do all the things. Stupid swan dives, fire chasing you, blowing up
Yep,
buildings.
absolutely.
Tiffany would have been happy. She loves a good explosion.
So the massive, did you know? I like following these Shonda. If you go to shondaland.com, you can find the recaps to episodes. So that's like my favorite way of doing it because they'll put like little did you knows. So
Oh,
did you know the massive fire that Phyllis, who was our lady, she starts in protest in this episode. It required a second unit director and 3 stunt doubles. So
cool.
the actor who jumped, that's probably not you. It was probably a stunt double who did not do a very good job.
We're very sorry. It was your stunt double's fault. And if you're
Darn.
a stunt double, be a better stunt double.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't very impressed with your jumping skills. So,
Go back to
anyways,
stunt
fun
doubles.
fact. Because during the ballroom collapse, Karina delivers this waitress's baby. The waitress passes, and so now the baby is left without a parent because was not, the father was not in the picture, so she was going to be an only parent to this child. She has died, so her coworker decides to adopt the baby, and he says he's going to do this because he knew the mom the best, and he can pass down these stories to the baby. I thought it was such a sweet little story, and I was like,
Yeah,
this
I
is
love
so
that.
cute. But I felt like something was coming up about it because of how they were. To me, sometimes I could feel like what's going to happen with the way they're filming and talking and how the show is going. So I thought there was going to be something more with this. Technically, I was right in my way of thinking. I kind of saw this happening already, but the guy ends up, I don't want to say chickening out. It's not chickening out. He did not feel like he was in
The
a
best.
spot in his life where he could raise a child. And I commend him for that. If you're not 100% taking on this responsibility, don't do it. And
You have to
if
be
he
a
has
hundred.
another option,
You have to be 100% or back all the way out.
yeah, like don't take control of a child's life if you're not 100% into it.
At
Like
first,
that's
I thought that what happened was because he just prefaced it with, I don't know what I was thinking that I could do this or something to that effect. So I thought that what they were getting at is that he did the whole interview process or whatever was involved
yeah,
turned down. That's what I thought it was at first, but it sounds like he just backed out because he didn't think he could do it.
yeah, exactly. But now,
Good for him.
good for him. I don't have any you know, ill intent towards him. That's
It would have been worse if he went through it and then brought her back and said, never mind.
yes, exactly. So he did that. His name is Liam from One Direction because that was her favorite band. That was a really cute little nugget that they put in there. But Maya suggests to Karina that they adopt this baby and do IVF. And earlier they had also talked about buying a house, which I thought was really cool too. Yay. We talked so much mad crap about Maya last season. I did not think she could ever win back any of my likeness to her. I thought it was just done over with. I was done with Maya. We all said it.
I was done talking about Maya and Karina every single episode last season, so
Yes,
I'm
but this
glad
is
that
finally. I'm like, oh, thank God.
because it was like one step forward, five steps back with Maya for so long. So I'm
I
glad we're
know.
finally getting somewhere.
Yeah. So I hope it goes smoothly for them. They have been through so much. Like we need to Maya and Karina need the biggest happily ever after. I think all these characters, most of them do, but just
They
in the past couple of seasons, we've gone through so much with these two that
they've
stop
been
it.
through the ringer. They need to be left alone.
Like let them have their house and their kids and just because they're
Give
also trying to do IVF at the same time.
them a baby or two in the house and then just let them be.
Yeah. They're gonna raise this baby and he's gonna have such a great life and I love it. All right, so I'm gonna do one more little did you know, and then we're gonna move on to Grace. So Station 19, Chief Natasha Ross Merle, that's her real name. She shadow directed Paris Barclay during this entire episode. That kind of makes me think that maybe she will be directing a couple of at least an episode this season. So that would be really fun.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, no, they love. I mean, Jason George, Stefina, Danielle, they've all directed episodes, so I can see Merle Dandridge maybe getting her little shine that she can direct an episode this last season. That'll be cool. Oh, we didn't talk about Natasha. Um, yeah, or
Oh, yeah. Natasha and Sullivan.
so oh my gosh, Sully.
I'm going to call him Boris because that's the actor's name. I was like, no, 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 not his real name.
Looking at Boris right here on the screen. It's like Natasha and mentioning Natasha doing her shadow director. We are going to very lightly touch on Natasha and Sully this episode. They didn't have a ton, but we see that she is in the hospital for her leg. She will not stop working, which doesn't really surprise me at all. And the department and city are letting them stay together. And I think that's awesome. They are not going to mess with these two anymore. I think we're going to have an awesome wedding this season.
Yes, I need a wedding. We need to end
Yes.
with a wedding.
I would love to have a Natasha and Sully wedding by the end of the season. That's my goal for this. Not my whole goal, but it's one of my goals for the end of Station 19.
It's one of my things I need to see.
Yeah. No, for sure. So they ended up going, she got to go home. She was released from the hospital. Everything looks good on their end. And I think that's everybody we needed to talk about for Station 19. Do you have any hopes or dreams or anything for this season? I think we might have already covered them all, but
Covered all, happy ending for Maya and Karina. Let them
Mhm.
be happy and leave them alone. And a wedding.
Yeah.
And I
think
want
this-
and I want Jack to be okay. Like
I was gonna say I want Jack to have like a
want
okay
to
ending, like
I
a
know
great ending.
he might spiral for a while. It is the Jack way, but I want to end with Jack finding a new path.
Yeah, he needs
Being
it.
and I wanted to be content.
There's a lot of rumors out there about Andy and Jack getting back together. I
I
don't what's your opinion on like that's a big like online I've seen a lot of people hinting at that. What's your opinion on that?
See, and I do remember they were together at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so much has happened. I don't know if I can be on board with them being back to I wouldn't be upset about it,
I know
but
it's kind of
it's
hard for
not
me to
exactly something that I'm really rooting for,
yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Everyone's like, we started the show with them, let's end the show with them together. That's kind of how everybody's thinking right now, but
Well, let's end I mean,
I love their friendship.
they're great friends. I don't think
Yeah.
we need to Jack needs to be alone for a while.
Jack needs to be with Jack.
Jack is not
And
mature
maybe
enough for any Jack can't do relationships.
no, and I think he still needs to not only he does not need to worry about a relationship right now. He needs to heal himself. He needs to find a new path in life and he needs to. I would love to see Jack build a better relationship with his siblings that he's keeps finding.
You know what I do love though is how Marcia is still dropping back in.
I know, I love it.
She was so mad. She's like, if something happens, you called me. I'm his family. I'm like, yeah,
She was
right.
hilarious this episode. All
I
right,
just
so
love their relationship. It is
I do
just,
too.
it's so funny.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
I mean we're switching over to Grey's Anatomy now, but it's kind of like oh gosh, I need like a name chart in Grey's Anatomy now.
I don't even know who you're talking about right now.
I know. Hold on. It's Adelaide. What is her freaking name? Jules. Thank you. I only know her. I know her real name.
Jules and her roommate.
I was like, Mary. Her name's Mary. I don't know if you ever watched Rain. Did you ever watch Rain? Yeah.
I was
All
so
I could
mad.
think was
Took it off.
Mary.
I was in the middle of my third rewatch of that show, and then it left Netflix, and I'm still angry about it.
I only watched it one time through, and that was enough for me. So
Got to be somewhere.
I loved her going over to Grace though. So I was like, oh yeah, I loved her.
Oh, I love Adelaide Cade.
Yeah, so Jules. So we're kind of going through the same thing. Jules and her roommate.
Her roommate friend.
Okay. And also I didn't even ask you with Station 19. And because it didn't bother me with Station 19 as much as it did with Grey's. And I feel like this is the only show in our entire lineup that we talk about who after this long break came back at a continuation rather than a time jump.
Mm-hmm.
Did it bother you at all, or is it just normal? I think they actually did really well with it.
I'm trying to think about what our other shows have done. What else has been back?
Like Chicago
Had like moved forward.
Mm-hmm. And
but no, with Grey's and Station 19, they left off at cliffhangers. Like they couldn't do a time jump and have everything be all resolved. I would not have been pleased with that. Like I wanted to see. I mean,
I was honestly scared about it. That was like, how are you going to do this?
They did jump a little bit. Like they didn't leave off exactly, or like they didn't pick up exactly where they left off. Like they jumped maybe like a few days ahead, maybe. But I wanted to know what happened with what was his name, Sam, the daredevil who was hitting on.
Oh well, we know what happened to him now.
Yeah, well,
that was heartbreaking. So we left off with them. The interns, and this is, I swear, it's like season 1 again. These interns went rogue.
They
killed somebody.
They just have to keep, going back to their roots, and they have to have this class mess up.
And I love that Bailey. She's like, this reminds me a lot of your class. Cutting LVAD wires. She brought it all back up, and I was like, yes.
I love how she keeps bringing it up. I'm like, and look where Meredith is now, curing Alzheimer's. It's gonna be fine, Bailey. Don't worry.
It is. I think that was like the best class that ever came out, and because they were willing to take risks, and they honestly loved what they were doing. Like the other residents were like, "Oh, I'm scared. No, this is too much. Why?" Which with season 1 residents or interns, and then season 19-20 with these interns, and that was what they were trying to do. I mean, there's no secret about that. They were trying to mirror them to each other to try to give the show a whole nother life.
But you know what? It's working. Like
it really is. And I was not on board at the beginning. I'm like, you're going to try to like recreate history.
See, they are recreating it, but also they're revamping it at the same time.
They're doing it great. I mean,
I feel like they're not trying too hard to make them exactly like the original 5. But yeah, I just loved Bailey coming in at the end with I've got 5 rules.
I loved it. I was like, yes, because obviously in this episode, Nick backs out, or he's going to go back with Meredith, I think.
So are we done with Nick? Like that felt really abrupt, by the way.
I bet he'll be like in and out like Meredith, maybe. Maybe like when she comes in, he comes in with her. I don't feel like that's goodbye.
I didn't realize that he was just ducking out so quickly. So when he was like, "Yeah, I'm not coming back," and again, I know you haven't seen episode 2.
Yeah.
Then episode 2, Bailey's taking over. I'm like, "Oh, he's really
He's gone.
he's ducked out." Okay.
Mm-hmm. They didn't make it very clear, but I think that was them making it clear was Bailey taking over. I think that was
Yeah.
kind of like that. This is clear. Like he's going back to Boston with Meredith and the kids, and she's
By
taking
the
over.
way, when he said, "I'm leaving you in good hands," I know that Arizona is supposed to be coming back. So for some reason I was expecting it to be Arizona. I don't know why I would think that. But then when Bailey came in, I was like, okay, yeah, of course, that makes way more
I thought
sense.
it was Richard. I was because I was like, maybe he'll like teach them instead of like doing like surgeries because he's kind of taking time off right now.
Come in starting with, that exact same speech that he gave, the interns in season 1.
I know. And I hate speaking of Richard, like we've already touched on Nick. Let's touch on Richard. He's having difficulties with his sobriety these last couple of, the season 19 ending and season 20 premiere, having problems with his sobriety. And it's heartbreaking. I feel like every time he has to go through this, but they stretch it out further enough to where it's like almost the good thing is with a show that's been on for 20 seasons is you don't get like a Richard relapse every season. It's they spread it out to where it's so realistic to
I
people
like
who do have
I like
problems.
how they're doing it. I mean, he's struggling. He didn't outright fall off the wagon,
So why
but
does he have to go back to day one on the chip? I
I
don't understand AA. I don't
I think
like,
it's more of a like he feels like he stumbled, so now he has to start all over again. But he didn't take the drink. But I think maybe his mindset is if Bailey hadn't knocked it out of his hand, he would have taken a drink. So that counts.
but
I don't know.
he was going down in the plane. Does that really count?
I'm not going to pretend to know what the thought process is of an alcoholic.
I know. I can't relate. I don't, and I've never gone through that. I've never gone through AA, so I don't.
I can't
It's hard
relate.
for me to relate to that.
But I do hope that it is an accurate portrayal of what, addicts and alcoholics,
Yeah,
go through. I mean, it's sobriety comes and goes in waves.
and I love that Amelia stays with him through all this. Like they're still like sobriety buddies, and that it makes me happy every time.
I love Richard and Amelia's relationship. It
I do
is,
too.
and they've been like that pretty solid for several seasons now.
Yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go with Amelia. I'm wondering when her last season's gonna be, and I feel like it's coming. If I don't know if you feel the same way. I feel like her storyline's getting less and less intertwined. She's not with anybody anymore, at least from the first episode.
She's not really connected to anyone anymore. Now that Meredith and Maggie are both gone, she's
Mm-hmm.
not connected to anyone
Like
anymore.
kind of Link and Joe, but they're not like extremely close. She has Owen and Teddy, but
She's Owen
again,
she's Owen and Teddy. That's a pretty loosey-goosey friendship though. And she still has, she's co-parents with Link, but they're not that's all they are is co-parents. They're really
yeah,
not friends. So,
exactly. So I feel like her exit is coming,
there
if
really
not the end of this season, next season
there really isn't anyone in particular keeping her
around.
around. I mean, I'll be sad to see her go because I've loved her the last several seasons.
I don't think she can leave. I can see her going to Boston with Meredith.
And I will say that there was some kind of opening that led a lot to be
Yeah,
they left a lot of room for her to either stay or mate or possibly go, which now that you're talking about this, that's, now it's suddenly occurring to me.
but
So I
what
think
about Scout and Link? Like, is she just gonna leave them?
I
Or
are they gonna co-parent from like across the country? Like Link's gonna. I don't think Link's gonna be thrilled about
I
that.
never see Amelia being a mom, and I know I hate saying that. I think she's a good mom. We just don't see it as much as we see Link being a dad.
Yeah, whenever we see Scout, it's always with Link.
Link.
We never see Amelia parenting.
I know. Very rarely do we ever get to see her with Scout. So, and maybe that's for a reason. Maybe she is like flying in every couple of weeks to have a weekend with her kid. I don't know how they're gonna do this, but it's gonna disappoint me if she just like, I'm moving to Boston and I'll see you once a month. Bye.
And I think it's best for Scout to just stay here with you and Joe, and I'm gonna go and hang out with Meredith and do all my Alzheimer's things. Like,
Unless they find some way to like open a lab at Gray Sloan for Amelia to do research, but that to me still doesn't. She needs to be like with Meredith while they're doing this. So I don't know how they're going to do this.
I don't think that would be enough to keep her in Seattle. Like none of her people are there.
Other than her son.
Yeah, well, I mean, and how often does she see her, circling back to that, how often does she see her son?
I know. And I hate to say it, I sometimes forget Amelia's a mom. Like, I forget sometimes that she has a child.
I always remember that Link has a child.
Same.
I keep forgetting that that Amelia is the mother of that child and she has a child.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't think I'm giving too much away, but like in episode 2, she's going on a lot about like how lonely she is.
Mm.
And I'm like, lady, don't you have like a toddler that's like supposed to be keeping you real busy and not at all lonely?
I
Like,
think
I'm not a
Link
parent.
has most custody.
Like, I'm not a parent, but I teach toddlers and they are not going to let you sit in silence and be lonely.
No. Which is like, it also makes me think that, how often is she seeing Scout? I guess she probably sees him every day. He's at the hospital daycare. So who knows? I don't know. Other than it's a lot easier for Amelia to leave than Link. So
Scout's a child of the corn, so we don't really get to.
I don't know. I could definitely see Amelia be like, I'm out to Boston, and I guess they'll figure out some kind of custody or something. They'll give us some kind of BS line. I don't know.
Honestly, that would be a very Amelia thing to do, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love her. Like, she's grown a lot, but I mean, she's still Amelia. She's still a bit flighty.
And I hate to say it, but like, I thought she was going to be a different mother, like a different type of mother to Scout because of, her loss of Christopher and everything. I thought she was going to be a different mom. I don't know. I don't think she's a bad mom. I just think she's career driven.
I think we just haven't seen her with, her kid. All of the good moments we've seen of her kid is,
with Link or Amelia, or not Amelia, dad. With Link or Joe.
Yeah, with his dad or, Joe. By the way, we love Amelia. We really do.
Oh yeah. I don't love Amelia. I like Amelia. I don't want anything to happen to her, but if she goes, I'd be like, okay, bye. Like, I don't.
Nope, I will miss her.
I honestly forget she's still on the show sometimes if she's not on screen.
But honestly, with the lack of connection to anyone characters now, maybe I won't miss her as much because she wouldn't really leave much of a hole behind. You know what I mean?
Not anymore.
There really isn't much of anyone who would be lost without her there.
No, other than they would have to have a new
neuro department.
I was gonna say they have to like find a new neurologist.
Ooh, maybe they can find a new cute neurologist.
We're supposed to have a new person other than Arizona. We're supposed to have a new hot doctor. Maybe
a brand new one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we only have 10 episodes. Come on, let's pick this up.
So, I think that's Grace. I don't know. Like I said, we talk about a lot of shows. I could be thinking of a different show. Or maybe that's, oh, no. I think it's actually Chicago Fire that we have the new hot one. Or maybe
Oh,
it's both. I don't know.
or
We'll
maybe
see.
I
I
don't
think
know.
we
We watch
need
so many hospital and first responder shows. I just can't keep them
it
all
could be
straight.
Chicago Med, Chicago Fire. Who knows what I'm thinking of? I
It
think
could
we're
be
getting a
some
couple of
other.
new people though.
It could be some other show that I don't even watch. Who really knows?
Who knows? Speaking of Link and Joe, let's touch on them for a second because I am loving it.
I was I remember I was not at all on board the very, very first time that this possibility came around, but I am so into it now.
Oh, see, I've always been, oh, not the very beginning with his goofy haircut and all that. I could not stand Link back then with that hair, the Superman hair, whatever. I don't know. That was awful. Sorry, Chris.
Now that his hair is all better, I mean, are you on board?
Now I'm on board that he has normal
Now
hair.
that he has better hair, you can be on board with him being with Joe.
And also, I follow him and his wife on TikTok, and they crack me up like every day. So
I love them
I've
so much.
fallen more and more in love with
I
Chris Carmack as we've gone.
I am very upset that Chris Carmack has not played guitar or sang a song
I
once on
know.
the show. Like, what are they doing?
Apparently, they haven't watched Nashville's what they're doing.
It's like, I'm sorry, do you look at the resumes of the actors that you hire? Like, give this man a guitar.
See, and I think of him more on the OC. I remember
Every time I rewatch the OC, I keep forgetting that he was on there.
well, that's because he was only on for like what a season.
Nashville is what I like in my brain, like he will always be Will Lexington. Like that's who Chris Carmack is.
Jumping back in after our goo goo fest over Chris Carmack. I am completely loving Link and Joe together now. I was kind of I was a little bit with you. It was hard for me to take them out of the friends area going into a romantic
I
setting.
love them together now.
But I feel like last season was just like a tease the entire season of them getting together. So when they were finally getting together at the end, I was like, oh my gosh, finally. It was a slow burn that whole season. So now I feel like whole. And when they just like got home at the end of the night and she just like fit so perfectly into his arm, it's just like they already look so comfortable together. I shouldn't even say it because I feel like they're just going to go against me now. Krista, Shonda, no, there's a new one this year.
It's not Krista anymore.
I know it's somebody else.
I feel like
Melissa, whatever your name is.
every
Do
time
not
we
mess with them anymore.
Grey's Anatomy, we forget this poor woman's name. Yeah, leave Link and
Joe alone, please.
alone.
Like
Or just
they
Joe in general, leave her alone. Like this poor woman needs something.
I do want to like Camila, she is looking hotter every season that she is on this show. I don't know what she's drinking,
I
but
think
she
it's
looks
called
amazing this season.
I think it's called having lots of money.
Oh, probably. I should get some of that.
Yeah, I need to make first $1 million so I can look really nice too.
She's I feel like the even as like the older she gets, like the better looking she's getting too. So speaking
Well,
of, Maggie's gone officially. Winston is still behind.
what
I
happened to
still
that?
do not like Winston.
Yeah, I'm still I don't know.
And it makes me sad because I did like him at the very beginning.
I don't hate him. I'm just kind of bored with him. Like
Yeah.
kind of like with Amelia. It's like what's his connection to
Anybody.
anybody anymore? He doesn't have one. I mean,
No.
he's pretty friendly. He's fairly friendly with Owen, but they're just colleagues. Like
Yeah. It has nothing. I love Anthony Hill. I love this actor. But I just don't feel like they're giving him
they're not
room to run or good storylines. They're not writing his character very well.
well because his character was written around Maggie.
Yeah.
And now she's gone and he doesn't have anything going for him. If they had given him something of his own that wasn't centered around her,
Mm-hmm.
but like right now, it's like I mean, that was his entire character. So now, like, what does he have going for him? Not much. Not any.
No. They either this season they either need to give him something or be done with him.
That's what they did with poor Kelly McCreary before she left. They weren't giving this. I mean, we love Kelly. She's awesome.
Yes.
And she did the best she could, but they weren't giving her anything as
Yeah.
far.
It's
She
the
could only do,
storylines.
they
Like,
could only do so much with, what they gave her.
yep. I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but they need to well,
They
let's
need
say
to figure
something.
something out
I was gonna
because,
cuss, but I shouldn't. They need to do something with him or get rid of him. One of the ways.
yeah.
But we
I
can't be
won't
just doing this all season.
I don't dislike him, but I also won't be sad if he left.
Yeah. No,
And I'm
I agree with
surprised
you.
that he did it. What happened with him and Maggie? How did that end? Did they officially decide to end their marriage? I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't okay.
Yeah. No, they had their last like rendezvous at the awards, but after that, I think they kind of went their separate ways. I think they're still like friendly from like the way it ended. I think they're still
Yeah,
friendly, but
it ended on decent terms, but
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Give Winston something before we start voting him off the island.
When he was like when we'll get to Teddy and Owen next, but like the whole thing with like when he went in there to care for Teddy, like sending everybody out of the room. I get it. Okay. But the manner that he was talking to them and the manner, the way he did it, it just felt like very like, I'm above you. I'm more important. You need to leave, peasant. It just,
Yeah, it
that
was
was
very.
badly written, I feel like, because that was not in character for him at all either.
It's like, excuse you.
I'm like,
Owen has
these
been
are
here
her
for
people. What are
Owen
you
has,
doing?
Owen's been here for several seasons. He's got clout. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm like, that's her husband. Like, you're just gonna send him out of the room? I
I
guess
mean,
that maybe they do, but
I get that that in that scenario, Owen's not a doctor, he's a family member, but you still have to walk that.
like, you can
I
stay in
mean,
the room, just stay back, like, stay out of my way.
he's still a doctor. He's a doctor and he's also a family member. So you kind of have to treat him a little different than you're going to treat other
Yeah.
family members.
But at least Amelia was there, and she knows how to handle Owen, I think. So that was my only like. I was like, I don't like how that whole scene played out. But I mean, let's jump into Teddy and Owen. We left off last season with Teddy having this dental infection, something.
That I remembered because I've been worried for months about her. So
So she passes out like in the operating room, and we kind of like leave off with her being wheeled into surgery. Now we know it's something about it's like traveled down to her heart. I don't get the whole gist of it. I'm not a doctor, but something with her
I'd
heart.
go to the dentist. When you have a toothache, just go to the dentist. Or you're gonna start having
Busy.
heart problems.
She's busy, man. I get it. Guess who goes to the dentist before me? Everybody else in my house. When I have time. And she's a doctor and a new chief. So, I get it, but she should have. You can't take care of other people if you're not 100% of yourself. So, take care of yourself if you're going to be taking care of a lot of other people. But Teddy, at the end, she's good. She's okay. We didn't really get anything new on Teddy or Owen. They seem fine. I don't really have much to say about Teddy and Owen other than I'm glad Teddy's okay.
There would be a lot more to say about them from episode 2, but from the first episode, I mean,
there's really not much to talk about.
They're good. I mean, she wasn't awake for most of episode 1, so I mean,
yeah, there's really not much to talk about. Let's kind of jump into the interns. Well, let's talk about. I want to talk about Adam and Simone. Adams and Simone first. I feel like this is the wrong timing for them. I like them together, but I feel like this is going to have to be a slow moving relationship in this show. If I know Grace, this is not going to be an easy relationship. We're going to have ups and downs and
I really
rights
do.
And lefts. And
I want them to end up together, but they can't end up together now because it's too fast. It's too easy.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to have to, this is
And if they did wind up together, like right now, that relationship is going to crash and burn too fast.
Absolutely. She's a little bit heartbroken from, not marrying this. I can't even remember her other guy's name.
Trey.
Gray?
Trey.
That's right, Trey. These T names, apparently I just block them out in my head.
We never liked him, so that's probably why.
I know. I just didn't really even care.
Trey. I mean, he's not a despicable character. He just was nothing.
Well, I like Adams, and then this Trey guy punched him in this pretty face.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I really wasn't that happy with him.
Don't punch pretty faced people.
No. He deserved it a little bit, but
yeah, but I mean,
he was rude. So I'm not really going to spend too much time on any of the interns. We're just kind of going to go through about what happened and where they're at. But Adams and Simone, I want them to be end game, but not right now. That's kind of, and
give it at least, well, I mean, there's only 10 episodes this season, so they don't have too much time, but give it maybe a season or two.
If anything, I think they're going to kind of play them like they did Meredith and Derek. I think we're going to have a lot of ups and downs and which ways. And
they're each going to be seeing a lot of other people before.
I think so. I think they're going to have to get both of that out of their systems before they can get together. If I'm thinking correctly, if my Grey's intuitions are correct.
You are the Grey's queen, so I trust.
It's a title I have.
Yeah. Wear that crown proudly.
I do. And every Grey's, I should get a crown for my head. It just says like Grey's queen.
I will find a way to make you one.
Who else? Oh, Yasuda and Jules. Yasuda and Jules.
I have to keep thinking about it every time.
Holy moly. Sorry, Adeline. Yasuda and Adeline. Okay. I can't.
Well, let's talk about Yasuda and Jules.
Mary, Queen of Scots.
Mary, Queen of Scots. What's her name? Kate's daughter.
Oh no. Okay.
So Jules and Yasuda.
No. Quan. I want to talk about Jules and Quan. I cannot keep any of their names straight. Maureen, I'm sorry. I want to talk about Quan and Jules because Quan put this he intubated Jules's roommate and dear friend now.
And she had a DN.
She had a DNI and a DNR.
DNR, okay.
So she's not to be intubated or resuscitated, and she was intubated against her will, which actually ended up being a good thing, even though there are those rules in place and you should not break them. And that was another like LV wire freaking thing. Yeah. Like,
I've never been intubated before, but I mean, that's a big deal because once you've been intubated, I mean, that's having...
It's hard to get off of being intubated.
Stuff shoved down your throat. I mean, you have a hefty recovery after that.
Yeah. Which like ended up being like a good thing because her, whatever she had like was super curable. Like it was like an infection or some, I can't even remember now. That was last season that they told us, but
I don't even remember what was wrong with her to begin with. Just that she had the DNI that was...
Yeah. She had something very curable. And so he actually saved her life doing the intubation. And by the end of the episode, she's off the intubation and everything's good and okay. And I'm glad because I really like this lady. And I don't think Jules would have ever forgave Quan. And I like their friendship right now. I could see them being another relationship again down the road.
Yeah, again, we need to...
Not right now. I don't want anybody together right now with the interns.
No, they need to get their act together. They've got Bailey breathing down their necks now.
I learned my lesson from season 1. I'm not getting my heart entwined in any of these relationships yet.
So, Simone and Adams in the ambulance with the haywire car, was that episode 1?
Gosh.
Was that
yes. We need to talk about that.
I could not stop laughing. I'm sorry. I know that it was serious, but I like what and that like they named what was the car's name?
Started with a K, I think.
It was like he's never acted this way before. I'm like,
He's never acted this way.
it's a car.
Was it Wayne?
Wayne.
Wayne. It was Wayne.
And then eventually Blue comes in, he just stabs the tires, and I'm like, why did nobody think to slash the tires before? That seems like the simplest.
To me,
Like,
like, is there not like an off button up front? Like he could
I
have like,
think
leaned over and like
I think that's what they kept asking him, but he said like Wayne's not listening or something, and I'm like, this is why
throw water on Wayne. I don't know.
This is why the idea of driverless cars scares the ever loving, you know what, out of me. Like,
Yeah. I've watched iRobot.
like
I
Blue
don't like
comes flashing the tires, and they're all like, "Yay!" Like, why did nobody do that to
to
begin
begin
with?
with.
Seems like the most obvious solution is just to slash the tires. No
I don't know.
tires.
I feel like tires, they can still roll on wheels. It just would mess up the car. But this every 30 seconds, them having to do surgery, this is all so early Grey's scenarios, these crazy scenarios of things wildly happening. I I loved it. And
Oh
then
yeah,
seeing like Meredith and Bailey outside the ambulance talking them through the surgery, it was almost like the elevator, the heart surgery between Karev and
yeah.
like George in the elevator doing the heart surgery under these like extreme conditions.
And then like
And
Meredith and Bailey are out there reminiscing, and I'm
I
thinking,
know.
hey guys, you've got like two interns being rammed every 30 seconds with the car. Do you want to like
They're like, open the
do
guy
this
up, no
later,
problem.
maybe? It's like maybe just take care of this later. Go get drinks at Joe's later.
I loved it.
By the way, can we get like back the doctors all back at Joe's?
That would be fun.
And I want to see Joe again. Where's Joe?
I don't think Joe's a part of the show anymore. I think he's like officially left for good.
Let's make him part of the show again.
I know. I loved him and his partner. What was his
Oh,
name?
gosh, I don't
I
remember.
could see his face. Something I just watched the Thanksgiving episode not too long ago when they both come to dinner and Yanks trying to find alcohol. Oh, such a good episode. Anyways, I love Joe. No, this was really cute. And seeing Meredith scrubbing in was reminiscent. You haven't seen that in a while. I don't know. I really enjoyed this episode. For
Yeah.
for season 20 of Grey's Anatomy, and I know I say that rolling my eyes because I cannot believe we're on season 20 and that it's like good. And that's so surprising to me that we're on
It's
season
still
20 and I'm
good.
like excited every single Thursday. I'm like, it's Grey's Day. I wake up every Thursday and that is my mantra. Like, it is Grey's Day. I am so excited for Grey's. I'm excited that I will totally admit season 17 and season 18 totally sucked. I will
I don't
never
even remember.
rewatch those seasons in my
I don't even
rewatches. I skip
remember
them.
18. Was 18 really terrible too?
Yeah, it was like a continuation of the beach scenes. I don't know. It was not good either, in my opinion. Season 19, again, great. Great season. We got the new interns. They started all over. It was good. Season 19 was good. Season
Season
20.
20 is starting more or less off the same with, all the callbacks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working. So
It is.
good job, what's her name who replaced Krista?
Starts with an M. I have no idea.
Sorry, one of these days we'll learn your name.
I know. I'm sorry. You stop switching so much and I can keep up.
Yeah.
I've only switched 3 times in 20 years.
Keep the same people forever.
I can't remember. Yeah. Okay. And also, the only one else we need to talk about is Yosoda, who is, I guess, with Helm now. And I love it.
That's what they're making it look like, and I am so relieved.
I'm so happy. I've wanted Helm to be like back and happy for so long. Her and Levi, like I know they're like second thought characters, but I like them both.
Yeah, I like Yasuda, but I'm more happy for Helm on her end. Like,
me too.
She's awesome, and she needed somebody.
She does. And speaking of needing somebody, I need another love interest for Levi.
Yes, please.
This season, I would like to at least Levi to have like a fling, or he doesn't need to settle down right now. He's been through so much these past couple of years.
I need him to have some fun. He's stressed.
Yeah. He seems like stuck right now, and I'd like to see a little bit more
They're not
Levi
really,
story.
I mean, we see plenty of him like in the professional,
Yeah.
yes, but we haven't been getting too much of his personal life, so I want to see more.
Because the last time we've seen his personal life is just like him in a basement being sad. Like I want to see like him being like happy and doing fun stuff out of work too. Like I feel like we need to see that.
I want to see him having, some fun, meeting some guys,
Hmm.
going out.
He needs to have some happy.
I would love to see Helm insert herself into that and trying to, get him out there. I think that would be fun.
I think they will. I think it'll be fun.
He
Maybe
owes
they'll
him.
go to Joe's. All right, we're gonna kind of finish it up with Meredith and Nick. Can't believe I have to say we're gonna finish it up with Meredith. And that's gonna be like the shortest time we talk about anybody. Meredith tells Nick that she can either keep her head down and continue in Boston or just quit entirely. Like she's at this point, and Meredith, I think, is getting really tired of Catherine.
I
It
mean,
seems like
I
she's
feel
playing by the rules. She's giving in, but I don't think she'll continue.
at first I was really confused. I was because I completely forgot why like how Meredith ended up in Boston to begin with. So at
Mhm.
first I was like, why does Catherine even care? But then I remembered it's like, oh yeah, she kind of her name is kind of on the company, so
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, Meredith gives all her research to Amelia and asks her to just continue it. I don't think that's gonna obviously it's not gonna be the end of Meredith. Ellen Pompeo is still gonna be narrating the show, at least for the remainder of this season, we know. And we don't know how many times she's gonna be in episodes. This isn't the last time we're gonna see Meredith though. I know we have Arizona coming back, but that
do we
hasn't been confirmed if she's coming back or if she's just going to be in a couple episodes. If I had to guess, it would be a couple of episodes.
is I think I hope it's gonna be like, Addison popping in and out. I'd like to
I
see
would love that.
I want to see more of her than in just one episode.
Yeah, I would love for her to come back just a few times this season. It's just like when we do get to see Addison, it's so much fun. Be like, oh, Addison's here. And then you get like good storylines, and then she goes again, and then it's good. I like it. I don't need Callie back. I was when Callie left the show, I like Sarah
Ramirez.
Ramirez. I was starting to say it and then I blanked. I like Sarah Ramirez, but Sarah Ramirez has completely changed her life since leaving Grey's Anatomy. She will not come back to Grey's Anatomy. She won't.
I think Sierra Ramirez
They.
is
I'm so
done.
sorry. They.
They are done with Grey's Anatomy,
Yes.
and I think they're just not interested in coming back. Like Sandra Oh,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah, she won't come back.
I know in interviews with Sandra Oh, she said, that time has come and gone. Like I've closed that door. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. And Sarah Ramirez is busy. Like she's
No, they're doing really well in their career, and I could only hope the best, but they will
and
not be coming back to Grey's Anatomy. So I'm happy just to get
I see
Arizona.
Sarah Ramirez in something recently. It's like something my parents watch. I don't
Sex in the
remember.
City?
No.
Oh, she's been in that.
Well, I know they've been in that, but it was something else. And they looked really different. Like my parents had to point out, oh, look who it is. Isn't it that girl from Grey's Anatomy? And I was like, no. And then I realized it was Sarah Ramirez. It's like, oh, they look a little different. I don't know. I have no desire for Callie to be back anyway. She was making me crazy by the end of her time anyway.
That's I think one of the things that like upset me one of the most is how much I liked Callie. And then by the end of it, with her and Arizona fighting over custody, how they were, and how everything ended with her, I don't want to see her back. I'm done with Callie. Like
It's
she
like
really upset me and made me mad.
they really it's like they were thinking, well, she's gonna go, but our fan base really loves her, so let's make them really hate her. And then they won't be mad at us for, sending
I
her off.
skip a couple of episodes when it comes to that custody battle on time, just because I'm like, that's like Kelly and Arizona always kind of had their squirrels, throughout the
That was just a
years.
real crummy storyline.
But that was so like they never fought over their child. Like that was not Sophia. Like that was not something that was like always fought about. And fighting over custody of your kid that way and trying to take the kid away from each parent was just bad taste to me. And I still to this day can't get over that storyline. I cannot believe they did that to those characters. But
Yeah,
I'll be happy to see Arizona.
so I'm glad
Yay.
she's
All right. Well, I think that's it. You can find us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram,
all the things.
all the things. YouTube, subscribe to our page. It's how we can keep giving you stuff and keep giving you recaps and celebrity interviews and everything else that we love to do, all of our fandoms, because we're a little crazy. Join our new Facebook group that is going to consolidate all of our groups. It's called Fandom Family Chats. You can also follow our page on Facebook, either way. And that's all. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at Wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.